So, right, this is Halloween. Anybody who's watching this today on Halloween. And my plan was to do a cover for Halloween, right? But I've come to realise that my guitar needs restrung. So in the theme of keeping things spooky, really spooky, I thought I would give you something spookily boring and just a video about me restringing my guitar. Because, hey, any content's good content. Just go along with it, right, guys? Maybe you don't know how to maybe you don't know how to string up a guitar. Maybe you're interested in how a guitar gets strung up. I'll do it like a montage as well, so I'll kind of speed through some bits, and you'll just see me talking every so often. So it'll be kind of magical, the magic of editing. But yeah, so why not? I mean, it's Halloween. Restringing a guitar can be scary sometimes. So yeah, let's just go along with it. So just setting it out from the outset, it's an acoustic guitar. I've had this guitar for like, I don't even know when I got this guitar, but it's nearly 20 years. Yeah, this is an old guitar. I've had this for a long time. I mean, especially if you're playing regularly like I do, you're going to want to restring your guitar at least every probably 3 to 4 weeks maybe. I'm not always good at doing it that often, but strings get dull. So what that means is they don't sound as vibrant, right? So I'll play it. And also the guitar goes out of tune quite a lot. So if you're struggling to, you know, if your guitar was okay and then it's starting to fall out of tune quite a lot, you'll find that that's probably to do with the strings. So that's a G chord, right? So what I do with my guitar is I tune it down. So the strings here, standard tuning, is E, A, D, G, B, E, right? That's the tuning. So anyway, this is D. It's tuned down a whole step, and then you put a capo on 2 to give it the standard tuning effect. What that's good for is it, like I was shown that ages ago by like a really old guy, and I've just kind of stuck by it. But what that's good for is it keeps your guitar in better neck, right? So there's less tension on the neck overall, and you get less tuning issues as well because the strings are less taut or less tight. So yeah, it's a little tip. Not everybody needs to do it, but I think it's good, especially for acoustic guitars where the strings tend to apply a lot of tension on the neck. Yeah, it keeps your guitar in better neck, but you don't need to do that. Told you this video would be interesting. Yeah, so I'm just going to run you through a few different things. Obviously, to restring a guitar, you're not going to need to have a guitar. You're going to have a guitar. You're going to obviously need a pack of strings. Some people have got their favourite kind of strings that they use. I'll just switch it up. 12 gauge, which is the thickness of the string. I used to always prefer 10 gauge, so it's a thinner gauge of string. But these 12s were alright actually, so I might stick with that. So yeah, packet of strings. Some other good stuff to have if you're changing up your strings is a cloth, right? So like under the strings and under the bits that you don't touch often kind of gathers dust, so it's always good to give it like a wee wipe just to freshen it up. You don't need this, but you could have like a wee bottle of polish or like cleaner just to give it a wee freshen up while the strings are off. So yeah, that's it. Oh, and not forgetting this as well. This is really handy if you're wanting to change strings, and I'll show you how we use this in a minute. I don't actually know what the official name for this is. Like a tuning peg screw? I don't know, I've got no idea. It's just kind of an old one, and it's probably past its prime. The bit's kind of loose and it comes off. Yeah, I would get one of these if you can. They're super handy. I probably need a new one, to be honest with you. So what you're going to want to do first off the bat, if you've got a capo on your guitar, take it off, right? Capo, capo, people call it different things. What you're going to want to do, obviously, is take the strings off of the guitar. This is where this tool comes in handy. So obviously, tuning peg, tune your strings down, take them off, right? So unless you've got one of these, you're doing a lot of twisting with your hand like this. When you've got one of these, you can just chuck it on, twist it, get it nice and loose, and then what you can do is just unwind it. I'll speed this up now so you don't hear that annoying noise and it doesn't go on forever. So it turns out I've done something really weird and I've knotted them right. I've seen a video Just remembered this. I seen a video on Instagram before I'd done these ones, so I'd done a weird different kind of knot, but it's pretty cool. When I thought it was pretty cool, but I didn't realise that it makes it a fucking nightmare to take off, so bear with me. So you'll see there, so some guitars have a nut, this is, well, all guitars have a nut, right? But some guitars have a nut that comes off, some of them are like actually like glued or adhered onto the body of the guitar. This one comes off obviously, so just keep an eye on that if it's the first time that you're stringing up or restringing the guitar. This might fall off. There's nothing wrong with your guitar if it does fall off, it just sits on, and then when you put the new strings on, the pressure of the strings pushing against it just keeps it in place, so don't worry about that. But yeah, just put it down somewhere safe. If you're anything like me, I'll put things down around me and then I won't be able to find them again. So yeah, so there's the strings, right? So that's them off the guitar now. What you're going to want to do is just kind of be careful because the ends are kind of sharp, right? So just kind of keep them out of the way of your face and stuff. Obviously, you don't want to lose an eye. I'm a specky bastard, so I've got some protection. So this is the next difficult part, right? So these things here, these are pegs, if you can see them. These little white guys. These are pegs that keep the string in place. When we change the strings, they go in just to kind of anchor the string in. They're a fucking nightmare to get out, right? So with an acoustic guitar, the best way that I can do it, and it fucks up your fingers, but is get your hand inside underneath, be careful, and then you can push them up so you can feel the other side of them, and you can push them up on the other side from getting impaled. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to have to find something to pull these out with. I'll be back in a minute. Right, guys, got some needle nose pliers, so you can use these to pull it out. Now be careful because these can break, right? They're just made of plastic, so you don't want to grab it too hard, but it's just something to give you a little bit of purchase, a little wiggle, and then just obviously apply pressure up the way, and it should. There we go. It's like extracting a tooth, right? So you'll see there, there's the peg, there's the string, and it has like a slot that runs down the middle of it where the string rests when it's inside, and I'll show you how we put that back in. But for now, just set that to one side and just repeat the process all the way down. That one came right out. That's the damage. Obviously I'm in a shed here, right? I'm away from human beings or animals or whatever. If you're somewhere where there's little creatures around or little kids or whatever, you're just going to want to bundle these up and just twist them, bend them together. Like some of the strings have a tendency to disappear because they're so thin, they're quite hard to see if you lose track of them. So just grab them all, bundle them up and get rid of them. Okay, so that's it. So all the strings are removed from the guitar. What you're going to want to do now is just give it a quick dust down. One of these, anything you like. Some people are really precious about their guitars, and if you've got a super expensive guitar, I get it. So you might want to be like careful about what kind of material you're rubbing against it or whatever. But there's more to worry about in life than what cloth you're using. But if you're that type of person, then fair play. Dust gathers usually in like this part here quite a bit, mainly because your hands are kind of flapping around over on top of the strings. Same with up here. Just dust around these wee guys. So there's your guitar, no strings now, you've taken the dust off. A good thing to do, and what I like to do every time, is just clean the fretboard. If you're playing your guitar a lot, it can gather a bit of dirt and stuff along the frets or just on the fretboard. But just give it like a wee spray and a wee clean. And you get all different types of oils for this, like lemon oils, and people like to treat their guitar with different stuff. But if you're a soap and water guy, that's fine as well, right? We've prepared, we're here, so it's time to put the new strings on. But you're good, so you'll get strings. All strings should be in a packet. That's to stop any shit getting into the packet and corroding the strings before they're ready, right? So they're kind of sealed up like a packet of Walkers. Or some people like to open up their strings like, I don't know, like 2 days before they want to string their guitar, and they've got like these weird things that they do, right? If that's you, then fine, it's not me, so don't worry about it. There should be 6 in a packet, right? Because there's 6 strings on a guitar. That'll just tell you on the envelope what string you're dealing with. Okay. So, first things first. The first string that you're going to want to put on your guitar is the 6th string, which is the thickest string on the guitar. When you're playing your guitar, the string that's closest to you. The reason for that, or certainly with this anyway, is that it starts to put tension on the neck. Also as well, if you've got one of these bad boys that I was showing you earlier, the nut that falls off, it applies quite a bit of tension on that, so it kind of keeps it in place, although it will slide around for a bit until you get at least a few strings on. What you're going to want to do, so these are the pegs, right, is get your string, just pop it in the hole, like that, get it in a wee bit, and make sure that your string is coming out towards the top of the guitar, so that it's not coming out towards the bottom of the guitar like that, right? And get your peg and just pop it in, right? So there's a groove inside that peg, as you can maybe see. There's like a little channel, right? And you're going to want to put the string in, and then you're going to want to line that channel up with the string and just push it down, anchor it in. This is where it gets fun, right? Get the nut in up here, okay, and then there's a hole where your tuning peg is. You're going to want to just thread that through there. This is quite a thick string, right, so it's going to grip that tuning peg really easily, right? I know you can't see it, but if you've dealt with these before, the thicker strings on the guitar are like wound. There's like a brass coating that's like wound round the core of the string, and it has a bit of grip on it. So what that means is you don't need to wind it round the tuning peg too many times. One, the string's really thick, so there's not a lot of space for you to do that, and it looks weird. And 2, you don't need to, because it'll grip it, right? So to tune up, you're going to want to go anti-clockwise, right? To tune down, it's clockwise. What I like to do is just give it like a little bend here, and what that does is it stops the string from popping back out the other way. What's a good thing to do is just bend it straight out in front of you. This little loose bit that pokes out here, we're going to cut this off eventually, but if you poke it out in front of you, you'll see it won't get caught and stuff. So we've got it wound round once, right? What I'm doing now is I'm applying a bit of pressure down the way onto that string, and it's not coming out. You'll see it's just wound round there, right? And it's just held on by its own grip. There's nothing, I've not knotted it or anything, there's nothing there, it's just holding itself in. With the string now, hold tightly with your free hand and pull down, right? While you're tightening it, it'll start to wind round. If you don't pull down on this, when you start to tighten it, it can like loosen and pop back out, and you've got to put it back in. It's a nightmare. Just keep going. You hear some funny creaks and groans and noises. It takes a little while for you to get used to that, and even then I wince a little bit, because especially with the higher strings, when you're tuning them up, you think they're going to snap and fucking hit you in the face and stuff. So, now what will happen here is the string gets tightened, this peg will start to rise out of the guitar because there's tension here, right? It's not too bad now, but when we actually properly come to start tuning it up, it'll start popping back out, so just be aware of that. A really annoying thing that could happen is that you just keep tuning it, you don't realise this thing pops out and the guitar string pops out. You have to take the whole thing off to put it back in again. So at this stage, what we're going to want to do is not tune the string up. So this is the E string on. We don't want to tune it up to pitch, right? Because The tension's going to change across the neck as we put the strings on, and all the strings will follow a tune anyway. Plus, we need to stretch these strings out as well. So what we want to do is just get all the strings on, just get them kind of tight and in place. This nut has stopped sliding around so much, so it's kind of in place. I just want to do the rest, the same for the rest of the strings. So I'll fast forward through this bit. Right, so just to point out, right, as you work your way down stringing up the guitar, right, from the thickest to the thinnest string, as you go, the amount of times that the string is wound round these tuning pegs should increase, right? Now, there's no exact science to it. What you don't want is your guitar strings slipping at the peg and they're going to fall out of tune, right? That's super important. The way that you do that is at the thickest string I showed you that we didn't leave a lot of slack, you're going to want to leave more slack as you go down, right? And that will ensure that it gets wound round the peg more times. Also as well, as you're doing this, so we'll cut these off. You might want to cut them off as you're going. I prefer to cut them off at the end just in case anything goes wrong. Be careful you don't poke your eye out with these. They just do whatever the fuck they want. Told you this video would be fun. Last string, right? So, that's all the strings on the guitar now. We've got these bits to deal with though. We're going to want to snip these off, and then we're going to want to tune up the guitar. Wire clippers to clip these off. If you don't have wire clippers, get a pair, right? But while you're waiting on them, what you're going to want to do is just roll these up, right? So just put them in a circle, wrap them around themselves like this to get those sharp ends away, because they'll poke you in the eye and stuff, right? Get wire clippers and just clip these off, right? As close to the tuning peg as possible. Just get them off. Okay, so guitar's all strung. It's not in tune though. So you're going to want to tune that up. Just tune it up from the bottom string all the way to the top string and then stop, right? I'm going to do that. I'll fast forward that bit. Okay, so you've tuned it up all the way, right? From the lowest string to the highest string. It's going to go out of tune, right? It's probably already out of tune. Now, if you've got a digital tuner like me, that one's just on the amp, right? Some you might have like a little one that you just plug in. That's great, that's perfect. Tune it up. If you don't have a digital tuner, go onto YouTube. There's some really good videos where you can just tune by ear. So all you need to do is just type in standard guitar tuning and a load of videos will come up, right? So you can go and have a look. Right, so what's going to happen now is it should kind of be in tune. Look at that, it's that one already. Now this next part is going to look a bit wild, and be careful here because I have broken strings doing this, but it's a really important step. So what you're going to want to do for every single string, and please don't freak out, is you're going to want to grab the string at the 12th fret. So that's here, there's a marker at the 12th fret all the time. You're going to want to grab it and you're going to want to pull it up, right? And what you should feel is a little bit of give in the string. It might even go like clunk or like clunk or whatever. Just be careful, don't pull it too hard, but pull it pretty firmly, right? But just go gently. And then what you'll feel, so there we go, like the peg popped out. That's fine. Let's get that. So watch for that. But yeah, so what you'll feel is, that fucking peg again. So yeah, what you'll feel is the string giving way a little bit and like stretching out. And that's taking the elasticity out the string, right? If you don't do that, you're going to be tuning and retuning that guitar till fucking God knows when, before the strings settle in. So this is a really important step. So yeah, so just do that one by one, all the way down, or all the way up, whatever. It's always squeaky bum time when this happens, right? Because you're always scared that you're going to break a string. So just be firm but fair, right? So that's that done. Now they're all fucking out of tune, especially this one. This one's totally flapping about, right? So what to do is tune it all back up again. So what you'll hear there is, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like this, you can hear that the string is like tuning up and then like detuning itself as it goes. That's because this peg's popping out. So just keep an eye on it, right? Because if you can get stuck into just tuning, not paying attention to this little guy, and he's coming out further and further and further, then eventually the whole string will just come out. And believe me when I say, once it's out, it's really difficult to get it back. And again, you'll probably need to take the whole string off. Just keep an eye on him and just push him back in. Okay, so that's it tuned up, right? So granted, if you remember from the start of the video, I have my guitar tuned down a whole step, right? So that means instead of E, A, D, G, B, E being the strings, let's see if I can remember this, it's D, G, C, F, A, D. And then what I'll do is I'll just pop the capo on number 2 to bring it up to standard tuning, right? So that's a guitar restrung, and it should be ready to play now. Now, what will keep happening is it will fall in and out of tune, right? You've taken the stretch out of the strings, but just for the first little while, maybe for the first day or so, couple of days, you'll probably have to tune your guitar up. Just keep an eye on the tuning, and until they lose that elasticity, right? We've taken out a bit, but there's still some elasticity left. So cool, right? There you go. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. I hate tuning up guitars and restringing guitars. Not tuning up guitars, but I hate restringing guitars. So at least this has been a little bit more fun, more fun, because we've turned it into something. But yeah, so any questions or anything, just give me a shout. All guitars are different, right? So you might have a different setup or a different type of guitar, or it might string differently. I don't know, but hopefully this video has been useful. And yeah, I'll catch you again. Bye bye.